Welcome to our kitchen. I'm Holly and this is Rachel, and Rachel is 15 and this is Abigail. Abigail's 13. So they're joining me today and we're going to show you how we like to make a one-pot pasta in the Instant Pot. It is super easy, super good. It's the kids' favorite thing to make for lunch. They're always super excited when I say, yes, you can make one-pot pasta. So let's get started. Welcome also to the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners group. We're so excited you guys are here. If you have any questions as we go, please feel free to make a comment and we'll do our best to answer your questions. And also Gail from the 101 Instant Pot for Beginners group is going to be there in the comments answering your questions as well. And thanks so much, Gail, for that. So let's get started. Rachel, you want to tell them what we use to make the Instant Pot one-pot pasta?
Sure. We are going to be using some vegetables. We have onions and bell peppers and garlic. And we're going to be dicing those up and sauteing them. And then we also have some herbs. We're going to be using oregano and basil and fennel. And those are three herbs that you can add to your food, and it makes it taste very Italian. We're using dried, but you can use fresh or whatever you have on hand. We're also going to be using crushed tomatoes and some pasta, and you can use any pasta that you have. We will show you how to alter the time and water levels that you'll use. It just works with whatever you have. And we're going to be using Italian sausage, and I think that's everything.
Yeah,
it's a very simple recipe.
Everything. So you can use Italian sausage if you can find it. If you can't find Italian sausage, actually. So Abigail's going to turn the Instant Pot on to saute. Thank you, Abigail. We have this a little bit preheated. But if you can't find Italian sausage at your store, you can use other things. So you can use ground beef. You could use ground turkey or ground chicken. You can also, we have used in a pinch just regular breakfast sausage, and if you add a little extra oregano, basil, and fennel, then it is just going to taste exactly like Italian sausage, and it's really fabulous. So we're going to just let this start browning here while Rachel shows us how to chop an onion.
Okay, so I'm going to put on my cut glove. It's just always a good plan to protect your hands.
That's right.
And we are going to dice this up. So the way we cut onions...
Oh, I'm going to move some things up.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. So I'm going to chop off this root end here. It just provides a stable thing that you can set it on when you're dicing. And then I'm going to chop off this fuzzy part. I'm not going to chop off the whole root. You can see that there's still root left here. But we just don't want these little hairy things in our food, so we're just going to chop that off. Then I'll set it on that cut end and chop it in half down the middle. And then we're going to remove this papery skin on the outside because it's just not pleasant to eat in your food. And if it's not coming off easily, like if it's coming off like this, then you're good. But if it's really hard to take off, you can just go down one more level. Don't worry about wasting a little bit. It's just so much faster. And so then I got that. And then I'm going to chop it in like sort of diagonally.
Turn the onion a little bit so he can see.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to chop it diagonally. And as you can see, I haven't gone all the way to the edge here. I'm stopping about a 1/4 inch from the edge. And I'm cutting it like, if you can imagine rays of the sun, just in diagonals like this, all the way across it. And not having cut off this whole root end helps me cut it so it doesn't slip out from under me. It just really helps with that. And then I cut it this way, all the way down the entire onion. And, oops, it slipped a little there. By about this point, I'll chop off any extra bits here, but then I'll just put the rest in the trash bowl and set this aside and do the other half. And that is how we chop our onions.
So a couple of things, we use a trash bowl. We always have a trash bowl handy when we're cooking because we use the ends and pieces of our onion and celery and bell pepper, things like that, to go into our broth bag in the freezer, and then we make broth from that, homemade chicken broth. Another thing I wanted to point out is it's really important to learn knife safety skills and practice good knife safety skills in the kitchen. And what we do is we pinch the blade of the knife with your cutting hand. We use a cut glove on the hand that's holding the food, and then keep the knife down close to the cutting board, never
Waving it around.
never waving your knife around. It's really important to just be really careful with the knife.
Is this
as
ready to
you're
go
cutting.
in?
Not quite. Let me
Okay.
stir the sausage, and you'll see, you can probably even hear that it's browning and sizzling. We really like to use this wooden, what would you call it? It's not really a wooden spoon. It's kind of like a wooden spatula. We really like it to brown ground beef. This one is an OXO, brown ground beef or ground sausage, any kind of ground meat, because it's hefty enough to chop up the meat quickly, and it's kind of big, and kids can handle it more easily than, and when I say kids, probably 10 years old and up can start browning ground beef, maybe even a little younger. Miriam might, she's 9. So we're browning up this sausage, and it's not fully cooked yet, but we're going to go ahead and start sauteing the onion so it can get going. So do you want to put that onion in there, Miss Abigail? She's dropping the onion in. This is fairly lean sausage, so we're not going to need to drain this, but if you have some meat that's not so lean and you're going to want to drain the fat off of it, then you would not want to add your onion quite yet. So Abigail's going to demonstrate how to chop a bell pepper. Okay, so Rachel is left-handed, Abigail's right-handed, so Abigail's putting the cut glove on her food hand, which is her left hand. So when we chop a bell pepper, we go straight down through the middle, and then we just yank out that core. It makes it super easy. And right here's the trash bowl. And then we pull out all those little seeds and throw them in the trash bowl too. And now she's going to slice this into strips. Let's move this one out of the way so they can see. She's going to slice it into strips. And just go nice and slow. You don't need to hurry. It's really important to invest in a good knife. This one really needs a good sharpening, as you can tell. It's not really gripping that bell pepper super well. So if you're having trouble with your knife like that, and it might need to be sharpened, or it might need to be replaced. Okay, so now Abigail's cross-cutting that and dicing it. And you want your diced pieces approximately even, but it certainly doesn't have to be perfect. It's just lunch, maybe dinner. When we are making Italian food, we love to use onion, bell pepper, and garlic to give it lots of great flavor. It's kind of like a trio of aromatic vegetables that go in and make it super flavorful. Okay, so we're showing you how we make our own sauce with these basic ingredients. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that in. You can use just regular spaghetti sauce to make this pasta, but I always ended up finding that I was adding onion and bell pepper to my sauce, and I realized it was a lot less expensive to just make my own, since I was already adding these veggies, to just make my own sauce out of crushed tomatoes and some seasoning, because this can of crushed tomatoes is about $1. Compared to pasta sauce, is at least 250 and up. And we can add exactly the ingredients that we want. No added sugar if we don't want. None of the other things.
No thickeners.
No thickeners,
No artificial
fillers, nothing
preservatives.
artificial is in there. So it's less expensive, and it's real food that you can make yourself, and it tastes better.
Yes, definitely.
Which is the most important thing. So I'm going to give this a little stir and keep breaking up that Italian sausage. It's cooking really nicely in there. Okay, Rachel, do
Yes.
you want to go ahead and
Start doing the garlic?
start doing the garlic?
Sure. Were we using 4 cloves?
The recipe says 2 to 3.
Okay.
But we really love garlic, so you can be liberal if you love garlic and not use a bunch if you are not a major garlic fan. So our recipe online says 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, but since we really love it, if Rachel wants to, we can go ahead and add 4.
Okay.
And garlic is fantastic for your immune system. So if you want to add extra garlic to boost your immune system, go right ahead. So when you have fresh garlic, I don't know if you've ever used it. Of course, you can use powdered garlic in this recipe. But if you have fresh garlic on hand, if you try to peel these little cloves, it is really difficult. So the best way to break that skin open, we really like to use a meat mallet. It gives you kind of another use for your meat mallet. We just take them, smash them, it breaks open that paper and allows you to go ahead and peel that garlic quickly.
Yes. And then after we peel it, we're going to, you can use a knife to mince it, but it can take a while and you have to really make sure it's small enough. So and it's also kind of dangerous for like little kids to do. So if you want your kids to help in the kitchen, we use a garlic chopper. You can buy these probably on Amazon and stuff. Oh, I'll just get out another one.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that one still needs to be peeled.
So sometimes when you use fresh garlic, you're going to find some bad spots. So all you do is take a little paring knife, and you're just going to cut those off and throw that away.
There's a little one here.
Is there a little bad spot on that one too?
It's not very big.
If you have green middles growing out of your garlic, that's fine. You can chop off, if it's really long, you can chop that off, or just go ahead and chop it up right into your food. It's just letting you know that you have real living food growing in your house.
This is a great stress reliever.
No stress, right?
Right.
So like Rachel said, we really love using this chopper with little kiddos. Not super tiny, but Hannah is 6 and she likes using the chopper.
So I think that's about
Remove
good.
that
And
paper.
are we ready to
We are
add
ready
it?
to put the
All
garlic
right.
in.
So usually we put the garlic in about 1 minute before we're finished cooking, because if you cook it any longer than that, it can burn and get bitter. So we're almost at the end of the saute process, so it's ready for the garlic.
Okay. And Abigail's going to show us the herbs that we're putting in here. We have about a teaspoon of oregano, and she's just going to kind of break up that oregano as she puts that in. That goes in right after the garlic. And then a teaspoon of basil. Oops. Shaky, shaky. So this is about a teaspoon right in the middle of your hand. She shook it out so it's kind of spread out a little bit. If you are a measuring person and it bothers you to just measure it in your hand, then please feel free to use a measuring spoon. But okay, this is fennel. We really love fennel in our Italian food. Sometimes it's hard to find though in the regular grocery store, but our best source for it is if you have a nice high-end grocery store near you.
Like Central Market or
Yes,
something.
Central Market, Whole Foods, Sprouts has a bulk spice section. So you're looking for a bulk spice section at a high-end grocery, and you will find that you can get a huge amount of fennel or even basil or oregano for a fraction of the price of other ingredients, of the spice jars at Walmart.
And if you have any questions about anything that we're doing or any equipment that we're using, you can ask them in the comments section, and we will answer them as soon as we can.
Yeah,
we'll answer them in a little bit.
Okay, so the last major component, actually, first, we're going to add our pasta. We're going to use crushed tomatoes for our sauce.
Could you grab the scissors?
Sure. But we like to put in the pasta first so that the tomatoes can weigh it down. So we're going to go ahead and pour in the pasta. And then Abigail's going to open up that can of crushed tomatoes. So we have olive oil here. If your meat is really lean, then you might want a couple of teaspoons of olive oil to go in your pan, but ours had enough of the fat in there to just kind of lubricate the pan. Another tip for you, I'm going to go ahead and stir the pasta in, and I'm checking the bottom of the Instant Pot to make sure that we don't have any brown bits on there that are going to slow down or stop our Instant Pot from coming to pressure. If you have any brown spots that are sticking to the bottom, you want to scrape those off and deglaze your pan. The way you're going to do that is, if you find those in there, you're going to add a little bit of cooking liquid to it and then scrape it off with your spatula. I don't see any in here, and I'm going to go ahead and let Abigail pour in that can of crushed tomatoes. Okay, those are great. And now, for 1 pound of pasta and a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, we're going to add 28 ounces of water. And we're going to use our can as our measuring device.
And that way it rinses out the tomato.
Also rinses out the extra tomato. But so you don't even have to dirty up a glass measuring thing. You just fill this up with water and pour it in.
And our ratio for that is 1 quart total water per 1 pound of pasta.
That's right.
So 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes and 28 ounces of liquid gets to the 64, right? 64 ounces
I think
of
it's
liquid?
56.
56 ounces, yes,
So
of liquid that you need.
That's a teensy bit confusing, so let me explain. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and close our pot. So we're going to, we've added our liquid, and we're going to check our lid, make sure our sealing ring is in place. We're going to close up that lid, and then we're going to make sure the valve here is on sealing, and then we're going to cancel the saute function. We're just going to completely shut it off, and then we're going to press manual. This Instant Pot has manual function. Other Instant Pots have pressure cook, and so we pressed manual. We want it set for 4 minutes. Wait, where's the bag?
It's 6 minutes.
Okay, 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and let it start, and I'm going to explain how you decide your cooking time for pasta. So your cooking time for pasta in the Instant Pot, you're going to have to do a little bit of math, which is great for teenagers who are home cooking. And so you're going to look on the directions on the bag of pasta, because each pasta is different. So this says cooking time for al dente pasta, which is what we want. We don't want it overdone. It says 13 minutes. So we're going to cut that time in half and then round down. So 13 cut in half is
6 and a half.
6 and a half, and then we're going to round down to 6 minutes, and we set it for 6 minutes. And now it's going to heat up completely, and then it is going to start counting down 6 minutes, down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to quick release our pasta, because remember, release time is cook time. So your pasta is still cooking even while it's releasing pressure. So there we go. So that's how you make it. And we would love for you to go and check out our website and sign up for our free course called the Instant Pot Fearless Newbie Mini Course. And you can go to our website at thecookingfamily.com to sign up for that free course. And there's a link on there that you can put in your email to take that course. Also, please follow us on Facebook at The Cooking Family, and that's facebook.com/thecookingfam, and subscribe to us on YouTube at The Cooking Fam. So, how do you girls like staying home from school?
Well, we are homeschooled, and so we were homeschooled before, and we're still homeschooled. So we're pretty much doing the same work, but we got to have 1 week off last week, and that was nice. And we still did some school just because we wanted to. And so we're still doing school, but it's lighter than it might have been. But I don't mind it at all. How about you?
Well, I like it because we have chickens and chicks and ducklings and dogs and cats, and we can hold them and play with them and play outside, and that's really fun. So
That's right.
It's like having a yard full of stuffed animals that are alive.
that are live
The
stuffed
little
animals.
girls really
Cuddle
love
with and
it.
take care of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Except for the heartbreaks, right?
Yes, we have
We've
lost a few.
a couple. So that's been
Very sad.
challenging. Farm life, yeah. Okay, so behind us we have our other Instant Pot. This one's not at pressure yet, so I'm going to scooch it out of the way. We have our other Instant Pot where we started our pasta beforehand, and it has already cooked, and it is natural releasing. And we said before, you want to quick release it, but we are going to now go ahead and show you how to do a release. And we're going to press this. This one is an ultra, and so we're just going to press the lid to release the pressure. Sometimes with pasta, if your pot is super full, because it is a starchy food, any starchy food in the Instant Pot can start spewing out starchy pasta water, and it's very messy. If that happens, do not panic. It's okay. You just want to reach here and close your vent again. And then do a controlled release where you gradually let out pressure so that it doesn't spew. But don't move your Instant Pot if that happens. Don't panic. Just close it back up. But never, ever, ever reach your hands over that steam release valve, because you will burn your hand so bad and it hurts. Also, never try to open the Instant Pot until your float valve has fully dropped. That's this little metal pin. You never try to release that until that, never try to open the lid until that has come all the way down, to show you that your pressure in your pot is fully gone, fully released. Also, the adult in the house is the one who should open the pressure cooker. Don't let the kids be the one to open it or to release the pressure. Just to keep everyone safe. Okay, so while this is releasing, I'm going to show you a few ingredients to make a modification of this recipe.
Let me grab those for you.
Okay, thank you, baby. We really enjoy making jambalaya. So we have another recipe very similar to this that you put together in the same way, called Jambalaya Pasta. And we basically make our jambalaya tomato sauce very similarly to this, getting all these things out, and then make it in a very similar way. I'm just going to show you the ingredients here. So instead of, in addition to the onion and bell pepper and celery, and in addition to the onion, bell pepper, and garlic, we just add 2 or 3 stalks of chopped celery. And then the herbs that we use are bay leaves, which you take out before eating, but it adds a lot of flavor. and thyme. And this is whole thyme leaves, and you're going to want to just kind of crush those up in your hand. The liquid that we use for this is chicken broth, and we love to make homemade chicken broth in the Instant Pot. It's super easy. If you like spice, add a little Tabasco sauce, and we love to use smoked sausage in the Jambalaya Pasta.
Instead of Italian sausage,
Instead of Italian sausage. And since this is fully cooked, you just chop it up, and you don't even have to saute that. You can just throw it in, and it'll cook with your pasta, because like I said, it's fully cooked and you just heat it up. And then we use the same pasta and same crushed tomatoes, and this would be the same amount of water as well. And then a little bit of Cajun seasoning. So we make our Cajun seasoning at home by mixing several Cajun spices together, and we have this, but you can also find like Tony Chachere's or other Cajun seasoning at the store, and it's fabulous. Everything else, the instructions are the same. So the pin dropped on here, and now we're gonna safely open the Instant Pot. Never, ever, ever force this open. Okay, so you're gonna see that it's kind of separated, and we're gonna wanna stir that up. And you'll see that the pasta is fully cooked here. And we're just gonna bring that meat right up. And it's so yummy looking, it smells so good. It's so amazing when you're cooking with the Instant Pot, because you don't really smell much. Doesn't really smell like anything much is going on. And then when you release that pressure, it just smells fabulous. I'm gonna move this lid out of the way. That, yeah. Okay.
I'll take that off your
Okay,
hands.
so here you can see those delicious bell peppers, sausage, that pasta, so yummy. And I'm just gonna sprinkle a little mozzarella cheese on here.
So good.
So good. This is the kids, literally, it's their favorite thing to make for lunch.
If we could, we'd make it every day. It's
If
just so
they
good.
could, they would make it every day. I have to say, no, we've already had a lot of pasta this week. If you have some Parmesan cheese, we also love to grate some Parmesan cheese on top.
Or you can use the stuff from the green can, but
You can also
that-
use the stuff from
doing
the
it
green
freshly
can.
is
Doing
always
it fresh
better.
is even better. So we're gonna let this cool down for a second before we taste it, because it's really hot.
Yes,
We're
it
gonna
is.
taste it and make sure it has enough salt in it, because we used the crushed tomatoes. Often those don't have, if they have a little bit of sodium in them, it's not nearly the amount that a jarred spaghetti sauce would have. So I always wait till the end. We add just a little bit of salt during the cooking, but we always wait till the end to really season it, because we just want to make sure all those ingredients aren't too salty. So
Are there any ways little kids could help in this recipe?
yes, there are lots of ways that little kids can help in this recipe and cooking at home. Lydia, one of Lydia's favorite things, Lydia is 3, almost 4, and she loves to go to the pantry and get the cans of tomatoes off the shelf. Kids can learn to identify, even at age 2 or 3, they can go to the pantry with you and learn to identify what different foods are. They can come with you and stand on a stool and help you crank that can opener open.
Yes.
They love doing that, because they're also kind of getting a hug while you're doing it. It's so great for little ones. When they're the preschool age, they want to help so bad, even to the point of insisting. And our 3-year-old will push these kids out of the way and insist that she gets to be the one who helps. And I have seen, my oldest is 16, almost 17, and I've seen so much that when I have let the little ones help in the kitchen, they're so much more likely to want to help later on. And I feel like they reach a point where they don't really want to help as much. They kind of get to an age in the middle years when they're not so enthusiastic about helping, like Lydia and Hannah. Hannah's 6, Lydia's almost 4. So as a mom, I would say encouraging them and allowing them to help while they're young is so important, even though it takes much longer with them helping. So carrying cans, learning vegetables, like this is a green pepper, this is an onion, this is celery, letting them taste the diced food when they're enthusiastic about tasting, teaching them simultaneous to that, teaching them never to reach on the cutting board while you're chopping food. That's very dangerous, and so you're teaching them beginning knife skills right there while you're chopping, teaching them to obey and keep their hands back, and then letting you be the one to give them like the chopped piece of celery or whatever. So that's little kids. They can also, little ones, all of them love, but let them smell your herbs. Let them smell the oregano when you open it up. Let them rub it between their hands and smell it. So good. And it also encourages them to try new flavors, try new types of food and textures. So that's what little ones can do. Older ones can help you brown the meat, help you stir carefully, remind them that the edges, especially of the Instant Pot, are really hot and to use a hot pad. Again, we don't let the little ones open up the Instant Pot at all. I do that. Older children, like these guys, can plan the whole meal. They can prepare it ahead of time. They can do menu plans for the week. These older children have been super helpful with menu planning and grocery shopping and grocery lists. So those are some ways that kids can help in the kitchen, and we would really encourage you to take the time while we're at home right now to let your kids into the kitchen to help cook and then eat great meals together as a family. So you ready to taste this?
Yes.
Still super hot.
Do we need to start a little? And we have this recipe written out on an article on thecookingfamily.com. You can go there and you can search for it. We have the whole recipe, we have the video for it, and we have a lot of other recipes too on there that we love making. How is it?
That's right. It tastes fantastic. You guys might need to get your own forks
I
because
will do that.
we're trying to social distance. It's a little hard when you're a family to practice social distancing. Tastes so good, girls.
Yay.
It tastes really great.
Here you go.
Thank you.
When you go to our website, we hope you'll sign up for our list to be on take the Fearless Newbie mini course. It's free, and it has great information about getting started using your Instant Pot. And like us on Facebook. We are The Cooking Family, and it's facebook.com/thecookingfam. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. We've got several videos on YouTube that demonstrate how we cook lots of recipes of our favorite family-friendly foods and meals and ways that we cook together. So this Instant Pot is almost up to pressure, so now you can see kind of how long it took to get there. I wasn't paying attention to the exact time, but it seems like it's usually about 12 to 15 minutes, and then it'll start counting down. So you've got here about a 30-minute meal start to finish, but one of the things that I just love about the Instant Pot is you can get it all in there, and then you can clean up the kitchen and have everything cleaned up and ready by mealtime.
So this was a super simple dish. It was so fun to make, and we love making it, and we
Yes.
hope that you will make it too.
Yeah. So were there any questions that we can answer? Okay. Well, we are so glad that you guys came and joined us. Thank you for joining us. If you're from the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners community, we're so excited to have you guys with us today, and thanks for joining us in our kitchen. And we would just encourage you and your family to make and enjoy a great meal together. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.